Okay, hello everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome to this week's Beta Alpha Psi meeting. Thank you everybody for joining us today. So I'll go ahead and start by saying, for those of you who don't know, this Friday, me and Carlo will be going down to Cincinnati, Ohio, and we're going to be presenting at this year's mid-year meeting. And what we're pretty much going to be doing this meeting is going over the PowerPoint presentation that we will be presenting on Saturday. And we'll also be going over a live demo of the AI TutorBot new answers that I feel like we've been hyping up for a while now. So it's kind of time to show everybody what the bot can actually do. Just give me 1 second. And Carla, whenever you want, you could speak, introduce yourself for today's meeting, and whenever you can, you could start the screen share. Yeah,
Can't. Hello? Can everyone hear me?
yeah. There's a little echo though.
You want to go on mute, first of all? Is that better, guys?
That's perfect.
All right, guys, how we doing? My name is Carlo. I'm the head of the AI tutor bot. I've been working with Damien over here on the tutor bot. We're making some changes. It's right now it's built through OpenAI's large language model, and I had the idea of switching it over to Claude's large language model to make it a little bit more efficient. I'll be going over it more detail in the PowerPoint presentation. But yeah, me and Damien are really excited to be showing this to you guys, and we're even more excited to be representing FDU on Saturday.
Thank you, Carlo.
Could you tell the slides you don't have?
Damien, actually, if you can pull up the slides in your end and screen share, that'd be great because I'm currently in the computer in the room.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Just give me 1 second. Just give me one more second. It's making me sign in. Okay. Sure everybody could see that. All right, Carl, can you guys see that on your end?
Yep, we're all good over here.
All right. So yeah, so pretty much like I said, we're going to be presenting new answers at this year's mid-year meeting. This PowerPoint presentation is pretty much going to be going over everything about the bot, the future of the bot, it's just pretty much all the details, everything that went into it. So let's get started. So we'll start off with the problem. So every student has hit this wall. It's 11 p.m. before an exam, and you're stuck on a concept. Your professor isn't answering your emails, and the tutoring center just closed an hour ago. So you turn to a generic AI tool, and it just gives you the answer without explaining why. So that's exactly the problem New Answers was built to solve. Guided course-specific academic support available at any hour that builds understanding rather than just bypassing it.
So I bet you guys are wondering what exactly New Answer is. Well, New Answers is the name of the tutor bot. Like I mentioned previously, it's powered by OpenAI currently. Its API is driving the intelligence right now. The way it works is you're going to just log on, you're going to put in your course information, your course ID, and you're going to upload the document that you're currently working on. The RAG technology and then is going to transcribe the document and pull all the pertinent information out to help you solve the problem step by step. Like Damien mentioned, not giving you the answer straight up, but guiding you to the answer. There are real-time tutoring sessions that guide students to the answer. And in addition, you can also print out all the conversations you have in the HTML script. So if you need to reference it later on while you're studying, this is also another tool to your advantage.
Okay, so the process is pretty straightforward. A student or an instructor will upload their course materials, any PDFs, syllabus, or set of notes. The rec processes the content and stores it in a searchable vector database. When the student asks a question, the system finds the most relevant sections from their materials and combines them with the question. So rather than producing an instant answer, New Answers walks the student through the concept, asking clarifying questions, checking whether or not you understand the material, and building knowledge there right away. So yeah, so pretty much this bot is built so that it's like a study tool. There's been many times, specifically myself, where I've tried to use any kind of AI tool like ChatGPT or Claude and try and get it to help me study. I'll give an example. When I was taking business stats, my teacher would upload all of her course content. She would post all of the homeworks, any study guides, and you know, the reason why this is so good is you could just upload all of that stuff and it'll understand everything. And once you give it a specific problem that you're having questions about in your classroom, it'll pretty much just guide you step to step on how to reach that answer. And it's pretty much the best study tool out there.
To piggyback of what Damien said real quick, briefly. So the real selling point of the New Answers is that we're building the AGI based on what the instructors are doing at Fairleigh Dickinson. So as opposed to what Claude is giving you or what OpenAI is giving you, we're strictly programming the interface to give you the answers exactly how, Dr. Collier would teach or Dr. McGregor or Dr. Sampath would teach in his class, which I think is far and beyond better than anything else, because I don't know if you guys have tried using ChatGPT for your homework, but sometimes it'll give you the right answer, sometimes it'll give you the wrong answer. And the methodology is not really on point with what you want to know for the exams. So this is just another thing that is setting us apart from everything else. So how it really all began. So a few years ago, the former president, Jack Mitchell, and a couple of BAP members at FDU realized that there is a significant tutoring hour gap. So currently in BAP, we have tutoring hours in which Elliot, he's on the call right now, will go and help students with their whatever they need help for that specific day. However, Elliot's not available all hours of the day, so there's this big need for tutoring session. Jack and the rest of them decided that they wanted to address this problem directly and build an AI tutor bot to solve this problem. Throughout the years, they've been adding a little bit more code every day, making it a little bit better, a little bit stronger. And now we're in 2026. With all the information that we've been putting in over the years, the model has only gotten stronger and better.
Okay. I don't know. It wasn't letting me switch slides at first, sorry. So, all right, so it's pretty much built for everybody. So New Answers was designed to serve the full spectrum of learners at FDU. Undergraduates use it to prepare for exams and clarify concepts after hours. Graduate students go deeper, research support, complex problem sets. International students benefit from clear, accessible explanations around the clock. And faculties and TAs can review session transcripts to understand exactly what their students are getting stuck before it shows up on their exam, which is a really cool part about this. I don't know why it's not letting me switch slides again.
No worries, Damien. If you can go back to that 2 slides before where we had the statistics of how many students are currently using the bot, that would be great. So we can just show everyone
Oh,
how.
did I skip that?
Yeah.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just go over this one real quick. So as you can see, we started off with 18 users and we grew all the way to 278 users. So that's about 1,444% growth in 6 months. So I feel like more and more students are starting to realize that this is a tool being able to be accessible for everyone. And I'm really happy that more and more people are taking advantage of it. But obviously, there's still work to be done. And every day, me, Damien, and whoever's on the AI tutoring bot are going to be updating this consistently and making it a little bit better.
Hold on, we have one question. Go ahead, Dr. Sampath.
Hi, Carlo.
Hey, Dr. Sampath.
In terms of 278 users, how many are actively using it? And could you and Damien talk about your experiences in using it, how it has improved your learning of accounting concepts as well as preparing for any exams or tests?
I'll take this question, Damien. Good question, Dr. Sampath. So the 278 users are not actually daily users that we've measured throughout the course of 6 months. Now, the second part of your question was how is it exactly helping students? So, for example, I'm in accounting information systems with you, Professor, and I have been trying to use Claude to answer some of your questions, but it's giving me the wrong answers. The TutorBot has accounting information database inside of it. So if I would go and ask the question through there, it would take me step by step through the exact methodology that you taught in class, in which me or Damien or whoever have uploaded previously into the RIG. So it has all the information available.
Yeah, and also to piggyback on that, I actually did test it out myself too with previous last semester schoolwork, business statistics, like I mentioned before. I had uploaded those documents in there, and I was just, giving it a question, seeing how it takes me through the steps. And my teacher's document, she had all the steps already laid out there. So I was kind of following it, and it really was following it by step by step by step. In the beginning, there was some like errors, but then we ended up fixing that, and now it works step by step, and it kind of gradually brings you towards the answer. All right, so move on from that then. All right, we already went over this slide, so
I'll cover this slide, Damien. So as we've been kind of saying throughout the presentation, so with new answers, I have a screenshot over here on the left side of the PowerPoint of the actual interface that it's going to spit out when you prompt it. So as we've been mentioning earlier, the first step is going to upload all the course material, any pertinent information that you need to drag from, and then you're going to go prompt it. You're going to ask the questions, and then new answers is going to respond with some guided reasoning, prompting the student just not to think, but to also not to answer the question, but to think through it as well, as we've been saying throughout the presentation.
I have a question here, just jump in. It's usable right now, even though if students don't upload their course material also, right? Correct?
I believe so.
that is correct. Yes, Dr. Collier.
Is this already? Yeah, okay.
Okay, so the technical foundation is pretty much built around two core components, OpenAI's API for language intelligence and RAG for accuracy. RAG is what separates new answers from a generic chatbot pretty much. It doesn't rely on the model's general knowledge. It retrieves and references the student's actual uploaded materials for every single response. Built in Python, hosted for free on Streamlit Community Cloud, and developed collaboratively with Cursor and GitHub. So the entire stack was chosen for reliability, accessibility, and zero cost to deploy, pretty much.
So this for me is the most important thing about the new answers is that it's able to give metrics to teachers. So every session, every frequency, the admins or the professors will be able to access it and be able to see what exactly the students need help on that given day. For example, if you're going on information, if you're going and looking for intermediate financial accounting 2 questions, and you want to know about dilutive securities, and let's say everyone in the class is asking the tutor bot about dilutive securities, Dr. McGregor is going to eventually receive a transcript out of everything that his students have been searching for. And in turn, that will really be able to help him focus on what really the students need to be getting more help on, which I think is really cool because not only are we able to help the students with this model, but we're also able to help the professors maybe take the teaching another step further.
Okay, so what's next? So phase 1 pretty much proved the concept. 278 users live on Streamlit, growing without a single dollar of marketing. Phase 2 is pretty much about building it to last. So we're overhauling the interface for a smoother student experience, expanding course coverage across all of Silberman departments, and building an instructor dashboard that gives faculty real visibility into where their students are struggling. And we're keeping the feedback loop tight. So every BAP member who uses the bot helps us make the bot way better. So please, anybody, use the bot, shoot it a million questions because the more you ask it, the more you feed it different kinds of information, the more you help us figure out different kinds. Because there's going to be bugs. There's always going to be bugs. People, OpenAI, Claude, there's still bugs with that. There's always people working on it. So the more people that use it, the more that helps us out. And yeah, that concludes the presentation that we have for this year's mid-year meeting. Carlo, if you have anything else to add, you can add. If not, I'll ask if anybody has questions.
I would suggest just if you could incorporate into the slides, a slide showing the web campus, where people go on, where it houses, because this just talks about it. You want to say it's a selling point that it's also accessible. Everyone has access to web campus. You don't have to go through the point about getting them joined to the orgs, but say that it's housed, it's not something separate. It's housed within web campus right away.
Damon, you heard that on your end?
Yeah, I heard it loud and clear. Yeah. No, thank you, Dr. Collar. That is a great suggestion. Elliot, you have a question?
Hi everyone. Congratulations, guys. This looks real cool. And have a couple of questions. First one, what is maybe I missed this, but what is the rationale behind getting the information on as for the registration form? I'm seeing that we need like full name, student ID, email. What's the reasoning behind that?
Carlo, do you want to take that one or should I take it?
Sure, I'll take that one. So originally the bot was built out supposedly for only BAP students, which is why you had to put in all your information, like your student ID and your email, all that other stuff. However, like I mentioned before earlier on the presentation, when I joined the AI team, I want to do a complete overhaul of everything. I want to pretty much keep the bones, but I want to change the meat. Like I want to get rid of all the barriers to entry, like Professor Collier, like you mentioned earlier. But yes, that definitely is in place right now. However, we're definitely going to take steps to maybe make it more accessible to everybody.
I have another suggestion that I'd love to see there. If you could show an example of a screen with putting in a prompt, a question, and showing a few of the questions that it comes back and asks you, demonstrating, just a simple LIFO, FIFO, or depreciation problem, because it won't tell you the answer. It'll start asking you questions. I think that would be very useful in your presentation if you showed an example of how it interacts with you.
Okay, definitely. Thank you.
I also had another question.
Go for it, Elliot.
But
Yeah.
maybe also kind of like related to the professors that are in the call. Like in terms of like what are your thoughts in a way that when the professors are teaching and they ask, guys, do you have any questions? And I'm telling you by experience, like no one asks questions, like very little people like ask. And I'm going with the premise that yes, I think AI or these technologies is going to be helpful for maybe people that doesn't have or the people that don't have the skills like some of the skills that are kind of like soft skills. But yeah, they might help them, but also, don't you think it might not help develop the skills that we need in the actual work? Kind of like asking questions to people, to real people. Like that's a little of a concern to me. Like we gotta be able to talk and raise questions in front of people, like no hesitation. And I think this thing might downplay a little bit, kind of like developing those skills that we need in the industry. So what are the thoughts from the professors?
Any thoughts?
About the current, first screen, but the old one at least said as you signed on that they recommend going to office hours, going to tutoring hours first. That it does say, because those are, you're quite right, Elliot, going and asking. But if it's 11 p.m. and those resources aren't available, that's when this is helpful. But you're quite right. If someone wants to avoid people, this is another way for them to avoid people.
Yeah, definitely the piggyback what Dr. Collier said, Elliot. So you are the in-person tutor on campus. So when you're not available, and let's just say the new answers didn't exist, student would probably just go on ChatGPT to try to find the answer. We want to try to avoid that. We want to try to increase the learning curve and increase the opportunity for the students to actually work through the problem rather than get the answer, which unfortunately is what most people are doing rather than not. That being said, I think that this is a really good opportunity for the teachers really to get a grasp of what students really need to learn the most, which I mentioned earlier. For example, Elliot, you just mentioned that when, let's say, a professor goes and asks questions at the end of the class, if anyone needs more clarification on anything, everyone stays quiet. I've seen it, you guys have seen it, and I don't really have a direct answer for that, but I do think that this tutor bot is a really great substitution if you can't find anyone on campus, which is the main thing. The tutor bot actually is not accessible if you're on campus offering tutoring services, Elliot. You cannot use a tutor bot if there is a tutor on campus that is offering services, which Professor Collier mentioned earlier. You can access it at 11 o'clock, but you can't access it at 2 o'clock because there's already tutor on campus. So because of that, we're really trying to avoid the integration of being fully online. And we're trying to have a little bit more of a human aspect too. So that's why we're trying to use the new answers as a tool rather than as an answer. We're not trying to replace human interaction whatsoever. Because you're right, those are soft skills that are really important in the accounting or finance industry, the business world. So yeah, new answers is just going to be a tool. It's not really going to replace anyone necessarily.
Yes, correct. It should not be your first option. Your first option should be Elliot, and if not Elliot, an actual tutor on campus, and if not an actual tutor, like you said, it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., you're trying to do your assignment. There's no possible way for you to get tutored. This is when you go to New Answers to help you out. And also, Dr. Collier, I wanted to, or I forgot who asked this question, honestly, about the form. The main reason we also do have the form in the beginning is so that everything gets sent out to the professors. So the professors know what the kids are struggling with in their specific class. And yeah, that's pretty much why we have the form there. If it weren't for that, then there would be no form. You would just go right in and you could do whatever you want. But it's supposed to be a learning tool. So if you're struggling, your professor will also know that, you're using this tutor out to help them, to help yourself in their class.
That makes sense.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Of course. Is there any other questions?
I got a quick one. Is that form required every time you log on? Or is it once off per semester or so?
Yeah, it's every time.
All right.
Yeah. We could find a work around that because I know that can get like a little annoying, especially if you use it 1 second and you close out the tab and have to redo everything. Yeah, we'll find a work around that part. But as far as I'm concerned, the best way is once you're first starting off with the bot is to have to fill out the information so that everything gets sent out to your professor.
Hmm.
Any other questions? Please, you could ask anything about the bot.
Questions, the better. That way me and Damien are well seasoned for Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on in Saturday?
Oh yeah, you were a little late, Ellie. So yeah, so this weekend, well, this Friday, me and Carlo will be going down to Ohio, for this year's mid-year meeting. And Saturday we will be presenting this PowerPoint and we'll be given a live demo of the bot as well.
What could you repeat what is preventing this model to have hallucinations like other models? What is kind of like why? How do you know that this one doesn't have bad responses as when you say that your premise that ChatGPT has bad responses?
Yeah, so I mean, every AI is pretty much gonna have hallucinations here and there, but the best part about this one is that it's really hard for it to have hallucinations if you're giving your course material assignments and different things like that. You know, if you use chat and you don't upload anything, you're just going based off of chat's knowledge. It's just gonna scour the internet and choose the first thing that makes sense to it. So. What the tutor bot will do is just reference every single thing that you gave it. So if what the course material that you're giving it is correct, it is very unlikely that it will just start hallucinating and giving random answers. Or
I'll,
not answers, but random directions.
I'll jump in here. When this was first built in 24 and 25, all the students who were working on it were basically bringing their class materials. So if you were if you were part of the team and you were in an accounting class like mine, where I give slide decks to every classroom, they would upload my slide deck. So that's what would happen. So this is all material as a basis from FDU professors that students submitted already. So people primarily, since more students are in 2021 and 2022 than in advanced accounting, it has more answers or more material from 2021, from the intro courses. It has second most probably from the intermediate and then less from the advanced, but it has something from each level.
And just to add on what they both said, when they wrote the model, they specifically wrote it in mind to avoid those hallucinations. So pretty much OpenAI or Claude will pull all their information from a really, really big database. When you upload the course documents, in addition to everything else we've uploaded previously, it's only like a really finite amount. So that way we eliminate the chance for any hallucinations just based off of that. Also, like I mentioned earlier, when they ran the code through, they specifically engineered it to avoid giving you fake answers.
Damien, is it possible for you to sign on right now and just give some people who've never seen it to sign on to the bot?
Yeah, I can try. I'm not signed into anything, but it's just you have to give me just a few minutes then.
Any more questions in the meantime?
I'm just curious, why stop at Silberman College? What's preventing you from, sending this out across FDU?
That's a good question. So before we want to like bring it to other chapters, which is ultimately the goal, we want to make sure that we perfect it for the business school first. So we want to make sure that it's really capable of answering any question possible. And then ultimately, me and Damien were thinking to implementing it maybe campus wide to make it more of an FDU thing than a BAP thing. So that way it would be accessible to all classes on campus. So if anyone, maybe if like a writing major needs some help writing their papers, they will be able to use the tutor bot too. Well, I mean, that sounds like a great idea to implement it nationally to all the chapters,
Sounds like
which,
a nightmare.
yeah, but it also, right, because, like the Roman Empire, for example, the bigger you get, like it's harder to control, right? So right now, it's designed just specifically to answer these business questions. And until we really get a hold of that, we're not really thinking about expanding to other chapters.
Mhm. Thank you.
Of course. Elliot, you have a question as well?
Yeah, two more. Kind of like, is this gonna be a competition, or is just a presentation or demo, or what is it gonna be?
So it's going to be a little bit of both. So it is a presentation, but we're also competing to place in the competition against all the other chapters. So in previous years, we've actually been placing with the presentation. So I really have the utmost confidence that when we go on Saturday with all the new stuff that we were working on and all like the new innovations, I really think that we could place again at the mid-year meeting. So we're not just going, just for show and tell. We're going to really put ourselves up against the other chapters nationally and see what they have and, try to show them what we're doing.
Okay, so my second question is, I know you guys are accounting. I'm mostly focusing accounting or business. Are you guys being tutored or helped by someone in the computer science field?
Yes, so when I was named the head of the DI team, the first thing I did was try to seek out the students who knew how to code, the computer science kids. What's really great about, like these days is that you don't really need to know any computer science to be coding. You can just be vibe coding, right? So predominantly that's how we've been building it out. But that being said, I do still want to have some computer science majors just to look it over, just to offer any explanation, any clarity that I may not understand being an accounting major. So I have been bringing some of those minds on the team, so that way if we need to access their heads to give some explanation on something, they're available.
And following up that, like, for example, if they ask you, do you have, I mean, like, they're gonna, maybe if they ask, like, they could say, there are many LLMs coming up every minute or every day. What is the plan for you to update or kind of like keep up to date your LLM that you are using? Is that something that maybe you want to use in your advantage or like think about it or maybe talk with the other kids? So might be also kind of like a point that you could talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, Damon, did you want to take this one?
I was gonna ask you a question first, but Ellie, you can answer this one, and then I have a question for you.
I'll ask the question. So like Damien mentioned earlier, he wants as many people as possible to hop on the bot. The more people that use the bot, the more information it can collect, the more we can figure out what exactly is wrong with it or what it's doing really well. So, as courses get a little bit more advanced and new topics, are need to be reviewed, it is kind of on our end to update that information. However, if a student goes in and uploads all the new course material into the bot, it already has it. Me and Damien don't have to do anything, right? So it's kind of the situation where, the more information it has, the more students go and actually sit down and use the bot, the better it's just gonna get. And Damien, you want to ask me a question?
Yeah, is your web campus working? Because every time I try and log in, I get this message, the resource owner or authorization server denied the request. And I've closed tab and tried to reopen, and I keep getting this error message every time I try and log in.
Let me see if I can get it. And then you can share my screen.
Any other questions while we try to figure this thing out?
Also, thank you, Elliot, for your questions. They're really helping us prepare.
Yeah, I feel like you're doing good getting maybe more or preparing for scenarios. Maybe it doesn't happen, but maybe I don't know, it could be helpful.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
How long's the presentation for?
So,
Yeah, you could take it, Carlo.
So actually, the presentation is supposed to be 8 minutes exactly.
Mhm.
We had a question being asked in the middle of the presentation that kind of threw us off a little bit, along with Professor Collier's presentation. In total, we were at 12 minutes and 44 seconds, minus the two questions that were asked. I think we were around 10 minutes. So I think me and Damien need to cut some stuff out or maybe talk a little bit faster.
Is there like a Q&A after you guys present?
Yeah, so it's 8 minutes,
Okay.
2 minutes Q&A right after.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. Good for you guys.
Yeah, no,
That's
thank you.
awesome.
We'll be taking pictures. We'll upload it. If you follow the BAP Instagram Friday and Saturday, you'll see everything. Well,
Do
of
you
course,
think
not
they're
the
gonna,
actual. Hmm?
sorry, do
No,
you
go ahead,
think
Ellie.
do you think they are going to inquire you about sustainability? Kind of like something like how to make your model or your chat somehow like not wasteful? Because like for example, I went to a competition earlier, no, last year, and the theme was kind of like being sustainable. Like how are you gonna be sustainable in a way that you don't waste energy or your models doesn't kind of like repeat and use so I don't know, are they is that something on the guideline that they're giving you or considering?
So could you just repeat the question? I wasn't sure what the question
Like,
was. So,
are you guys considering something about being sustainable or sustainability on terms of like running the chatbot?
well, I'm not sure if this really answers your question, but the chatbot it pretty much runs off of credits, and I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if this answers the question, but I don't really know if there's any energy like being wasted. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure how to answer that question. Carlo, do you have anything to say?
What do you mean by energy? You're talking about like electricity and like data servers and all that?
Well, what I've learned in this competition is that there are ways to prevent your model to keep spinning their wheels in the same stuff, and therefore, like if they're not wasting that time or tokens, then you are being sustainable or you are kind of like saving energy. Like maybe, yeah, maybe I mean like it might sound like it's nothing, but if you save like memory and stuff like preventing the model to stop to keep doing the same thing in the long run is gonna save you uh, the use of tokens, energy, and so on, so on. And that the thing I bringing this up is because again in the competition I went, that was something that they really like wanted to see from us, like how to make these chatbots efficient,
There, there's
which
There is a BAP competition on sustainability, that you are not competing in the sustainability. So the question, Elliot, would be if they were competing in that session. Their session is totally devoted to innovation and technology.
at any cost.
I think what Ellie is trying to say is the tokenization of this. Like if someone asks a question, it takes one token for it to answer the question, right? There's currently a finite number of tokens that are registered within the new answers, and we have to go in and manually purchase the tokens every month. We have a strict budget for that. So there is code already put in place. So it's gonna avoid giving you those really long answers that waste a lot of energy, as you mentioned, Elliot. So yes, there is like kind of a restriction in place for it to like, not give you like really large answers and use a bunch of tokens. However, there is currently a finite amount of tokens being used to run the bot. And like I mentioned earlier, when I took on the lead of the team, I kind of wanted to change the interface a little bit. And I also wanted to address the tokenization aspect and try to make it a little more accessible and, cheaper for everyone by using a more open source model like Claude.
Okay, then last question.
Yeah.
What are your competitive advantages from your chatbot? Like you think that it would stand out against the other ones?
Well, don't really know what anybody else is going to be presenting for the innovation part. But I can almost guarantee that I don't think anybody's going to have an AI tutor bot as their presentation for the innovation and technology. But I think the best part about it is like everything that we talked about, the fact that it sends, sends all the data to the professors, lets them know what you're struggling with. I think every small detail about it, the fact that it's a tutor and not just an AI bot that you could just feed information and get the answers from is what makes it so unique from what everybody else, because most people just use, ChatGPT and just want to get the answer, but there hasn't been anything that's really come out that's just, just straight tutoring. No straight answers, just guides you to the answer.
Jamie, could you let me share? And because I do have the screen up, so if you could let me share, that would be great.
Is it not letting you? Sure.
Yeah, Dr. Keller was able to pull it up. She was asking if you can just let her screen share.
Okay, I didn't,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, you could screen share, yeah.
okay,
Here, do you want me to give you an accounting question?
I have an accounting question ready for it. So I've already, oh gosh, I wish I did. So here is where it says new tutor bot. We sign on there. And this is the pain that Israel was talking about.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we can like put like a drop down menu or something to like expedite the process aside from just like typing everything straight up.
Yeah.
There's like solutions in the works to make this a little bit more efficient. I want to go ahead and touch on that question about our competitive advantage. Our competitive advantage is that we literally have all the professor's methodology. Like if you needed to solve a problem, exactly like Dr. Sampath would solve a problem, like it will show you the work process. If you go on Claude, you go on OpenAI, it will show you the answer, but it might show you in a way that is not necessarily the most efficient or the way that the professor is looking for.
Now look at this. It doesn't like it because I put a lowercase CCT. It needs
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs all the uppercase.
CCT. Okay. All right, now it'll let me submit, and now I can put in. Did I put in all the required fields? I think so. Right? Then my note.
You're missing
Okay.
one drop down there, yeah.
This one, okay.
Yeah, it needs class and it needs an email, I think.
Interim. And where is the email that I'm missing?
So
Oh, here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and so I'm just giving you the question here. Okay, everyone see, it's a very simple question about statement of cash flows. Let's see what it says then when we put this in.
So you see immediately, instead of giving you an answer, it asks you another question. It's asked, what does it mean if operating activities show negative cash flow of 1,200,000? So what you would do is you would answer that question.
So answer it, someone, tell me what to type.
Hey, Carla, this is all you.
I'll put it in, it doesn't look good. How's that? Anyone want to answer this, or should I keep going? Why would you think this is a concern? I know we have,
Inability to pay back debt.
so why would a company have positive cash flows from investing activities? Anyone?
They're probably getting too much money from investors.
No, that's not investing activities, that's
Oh.
buying activities. So let's say, sold land.
But you see, Elliot, how it's not really giving you the answer outright. It is slowly asking you questions to help you understand the concepts and lead you to the answers, which I think is really the competitive advantage here. Like, we're trying to answer the question ultimately, but while we're working through the problem, we're figuring out all the small elements to it so we can really get a whole grasp of the entire concept rather than, just getting the answer ultimately.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a wrong answer in here.
Valerie has a question. She's in the room of form right now. Valerie.
I was wondering why you just kept saying, I don't know, until I don't
I have no idea.
Yeah, she asked, what if you just keep telling the bot, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know? And the answer to that is, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna sign out now. I'll stop sharing. Okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
It looks cool. Yep, I like it.
Thank you. Built it myself. I'm just joking.
Is the
Um,
presentation you guys giving screen, like the dialogue you're gonna have with the bot, screen recorded, or are you doing it live?
Still thinking about that, honestly. I'm not sure if I want to just, have like a clip on one of the slides, pretty much, like you just said, like a screen recording of me like going through like actually like a whole problem. I just don't know like how long that would take up in that 8-minute presentation. I'm not sure if it's better to just do something quick, as a video or actually do a live demonstration. Yeah, so pretty much still thinking about that one.
Yeah, the 8 minutes seems like a long time, but it goes by really quick. Like I blanked and it was already 12 minutes into the presentation. So, whatever we figure out ultimately is the most efficient way to squeeze it within the time frame, we're gonna do it.
I would think that's recording, no? I'm saying
Yeah,
like
probably
you
most
risk running
importantly.
into problems if it's live.
Yeah. And if
I,
anything with the recording, it could even be sped up just a little so that it goes by quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you just said. Carlo, you're
Yeah.
gonna say something? Sorry.
yeah, Professor Nodar, I see that you're on the call. Do you have anything to add?
No, I worked with the bot. Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I
Yeah,
can.
I
perfectly.
worked with the bot. Again, my big pet peeve I shared with Dr. Collier was the sign-in screen. As you know, you have to fill that out, but not that bad. And I shared it with two of my accounting 2021 classes. I'm waiting to hear feedback. And again, I presented it as a nice supplement. It's not going to replace in classroom lectures, not going to replace, doing the reading from the ebook or live tutoring, but it's something nice if, especially off hours. Um, if they're going over a homework problem on a cash flow statement, for example, and they can, play around with it. And I think it's in line with the way our students prefer to learn, and it's nothing that structured. The responses, by the way, were very polite. When you get the wrong answer, especially, I typed in a few wrong answers on purpose, and let's say like "nice try," uh, but yeah, it doesn't give you the answers. In some cases, after a while, if you're correct, it'll say that's correct. Would you like to ask anything else or something? But overall, good experience. I see it, as a supplement, and to the whole learning process for students. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor. I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on the call that want to offer some feedback that we haven't heard from so far? Preferably someone that has not spoken yet.
Okay, I mean, it's almost 5:30. Getting pressured by a classroom out here because I have a class in like 3 minutes. But if nobody else has any other questions, that will pretty much conclude today's meeting. This Friday, me and Carlo will be going down to Ohio. We will be presenting this PowerPoint and the new answers on Saturday, and we're very excited. Yeah, Carlos, anything else you want to add?
No, yeah, we're really psyched to be representing the Fairleigh Dickinson and representing the BAP Sigma Nu chapter, and we hope to make you guys proud.
Thank you for everybody for coming to today's meeting and coming to see what we had to present. So thank you so much. I'll screen share the attendance just in case anybody else didn't get to sign in. And once you've done that, you are free to go.
Good luck, guys. We're
Thank
rooting for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Think you have a great presentation.
I think we do too. Stay up
And
for
I'm
like,
so glad you two are joining.
yes,
So
thank
have it.
you. I've been bothering everyone to come. You know.
You know, it was good presentation. Just make sure, like, you tell people, like, when you're presenting the whole questions at the end.
Yes.
That way you just kind of minimize any interruptions.
They know, but I made an exception because I love Vijay, so if he has to, if he has to make a question, I'm
Yeah.
stopping everything to answer that question.
What do you have him for now?
Accounting information systems.
You guys were, I think, I calculated it was like 10 minutes, not even like maybe 9 minutes and 45 seconds. So you're not like too
Yeah.
over the limit, but yeah, it's just, I guess maybe talking faster.
Sorry, tell Damien to.
Yeah.
Don't read the slides, let the people read them
Yeah.
instead. You just,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that way we can eliminate a lot of time that way, so we're not reading everything word by word.
Yeah, yeah. You do need to, I'm gonna email you, you do need to put something in that there is already a base, knowledge base in there, that it's not just uploading current materials, it already has a base established.
Got it. I know I mentioned that, but it wasn't written.
It's not written, it looks like the first step